This is the first step of our C# project on audio extractor with FFmpeg. We will talk about FFmpeg in the coming tutorials, but right now our first step is to set up a logger and event handler. For this, the prerequisites are that you will have to review these C#.NET Core course chapters and lectures, these methods and functions, this lecture on actions, delegates and lambda expressions, and this lecture especially on properties and events. If you already know, then you can directly come to the project that I am explaining. This source code so far source code will be available in the downloads. You can obtain from there also. So let us now start examining the code that we have written already till this step. First of all, you should create a C#8 or later, C#11 or later and .NET Core 7 or later project with Visual Studio. So this is what you should take care of, but this is not a big issue, because if you use Visual Studio for the latest installers, if you use the latest Visual Studio and updated Visual Studio, then these things are already going to be set up for you. So you will create a simple C# console project, and to this project you will get this program.cs file, and then we have added these two files here. But right now let me show you the structure of program.cs file. In this file you might see some errors when you open. For this you will have to install this NuGet package. This will install everything that will solve all these problems. So I'll copy this and I will open the package manager console and I will paste it there and hit enter. Everything goes on successfully. It might take some time depending on the speed of your internet, so everything becomes okay right now. So let us first of all see now the whole project step by step till this point, where we are on first step and we are simply adding a few event handlers, nothing else. So now why are these event handlers being added? Let me explain that also. The architecture is this way, that this is your program.cs file. This we can say this is the user interface of the project. This class will interact with the second class. This class we have called audio extractor. I will simply write it like this. It will interact with this audio extractor class, and as this audio extractor will progress, it will raise certain events of interest. These events will be provided to the program.cs file and it can print it on the console for the convenience of the user. So that is why we are going to add event handlers today, because this class, which is going to do the main work, this class will contain all the event handlers. It will raise the events and those events will be collected, will be sent to the console, and this is the user interface. Now why I am doing this? This is a recommended architecture where, let us say tomorrow we decide to replace this side with our .NET MAUI MOI project or maybe WPF or whatever, then this class will require minimal changes. It can be copy and pasted there. So now it must be easier for you to understand that we are going to add this first data available event args. After this I will come back to the program.cs file. So let us have a look at this data available event args file. Double click and open it and let me examine it one by one. This is a rather small file, and in this file we have a data available event args that comes from the event args. Then there is an event type property. This property is an enumeration, and this enumeration is defined here. It has two properties, two items right now: error no file and finished. So when there is no file or some error has taken place, in that case, this error no file will be used, and when the process is finished, this finished will be used. So this is a property that tells us the nature of event that has taken place, and the second property is the data associated with this event so that it can be displayed on the console. So this is what is the first thing that we have done. And let us next come to the audio extractor.c# file. This file I will double click and open it right now. So in this class we are seeing a logger and a read-only string, but before that let me come to the program.cs file so that you can understand it a little better. In this file these are the namespaces, and we have already included this package, and I have already told you that this should be the versions that will be supported. And here, since the application also has to print something to the log is related to the flow of the program. It helps in debugging. It's a good practice. So I have added a logger factory.create. This is created on the base of, this is the create method from the logger factory. This logger factory is made available by this package microsoft.extensions.logging.console. You might have to go through the documentation of this logger factory, but roughly you will use this builder to clear all the log providers and set a minimum log level of none. This is usually not required in this particular case, but it will actually clear all the logs, all the clutter that might be entering your log window. So we set this to none, and a filter is added. This filter says that any log coming from the audio extractor app namespace. This audio extractor namespace dot other classes. You see, this is the audio extractor app namespace. This is the audio extractor app namespace. So any log thrown by classes of audio extractor app namespace, the minimum log level will be trace. You will have to go through the documentation of log level, but trace, debug, none, so many types of logs are there. I will use some of them in this case, in this project. And after this I have added add simple console with the timestamp format as hours, minutes, seconds, and followed by this small angle. So all the logs, they will appear in this format. Give me the time of generation of this log event. You can copy paste this part if you want. This can be done in almost every project that you use on the basis of C#. Even console also, it works for ASP.NET Core also, and in MOI also, it is expected to work like this. So it is this log that will now be passed to this audio extractor object. This object will receive two arguments. The first argument is this log factory, and the second is the name of the file from which we are going to extract the audio. In today's tutorial, this file will not be added. It will be simply used here because we will see that this error is shown to us that the file doesn't exist. That is the objective of this tutorial right now. Okay, now with this logger factory clear, let me pause this program.cs file and come to the audio extractor. In this audio extractor, I have this read-only iLogger. This is the logger for this namespace. This is how it should be templated. You might have to just remember what I am doing, or maybe do further research on your own, but this is the practice that is generally followed. And in the constructor, the logger factory and the input file name, logger is created from create logger method, and input file name is saved here because this is required during processing. And after this, let us scroll down. We have added an event handler for this data available event args, this file that we added just now, and called it data available event. And when this data is available, this invokes all the registered users, all the registered subscribers to this event. And I will now come to this in a moment. But if you want, I can come to the program.cs file, and here we are registering a subscriber. This is the subscriber extractor.dataAvailable_event is equal to, this is the sender and this is the event args. In this, we will change the text color, and if the event is of the type no file, we set a warning color and display the information that will come. And we will change the foreground color later on. Set the foreground, cache this foreground color and set it back here. And this is the run method of the extractor. So we have a subscriber here, and this subscriber will be informed of the events coming from here. And now let us come to the run method. In the run method, we just log a trace that we are starting extraction, and a small artificial delay has been added in this case because we are going to use an asynchronous, but there is nothing asynchronous right now, so I have just added an asynchronous so that I don't get a warning here. In the coming tutorials, as this program becomes bigger, as this function becomes bigger, we'll remove this out because await will automatically be coming from one or the other function. So as usual, the next step is, if the input file doesn't exist, then we will log an error, file not found, this input file is not found. This is just a placeholder, you could have written any readable name here. This is how the logger works. So this file not found, and on data available this event will be pushed. This event says error file not found, place your video file in the output directory and retry, and event type has been set as error no file. So this is what pushes the event to the subscribers. And in case you are new to this add story, this add allows me to split this line into multiple lines so that I just have to put one single quote and the last single quote here. This is a special character that you can use in case of your C#, and this is the only thing that we have done. And let us now run this project to verify that we get our log and everything. So you can see that we get a trace at this time, and starting extraction, this is a error fail, this is a log, all these angles are coming to the log, and this is the message that was printed because of the event handler. This is the red color message that has been printed, and from where have they come, you can just see this is trace, this is fail, and this is the time format. In the program.cs file, we set this time format here, and the event was pushed here. The text color was set to red for error, and that is why that event showed up. So with this, we'll close it right now. Thank you.